Okay, continuing on with our series of solo training drills. I know that training alone can be difficult for some of you. Fortunately, there are some drills that you can actually train by yourself very well, and amongst them are the kicking drills. There's a lot of coordination and balance that's involved in the kicking drills. So to train these attributes doesn't require you kicking something hard, like a punching bag or pads. So you can just do it by yourself in the air. Kicking is also always linked to stepping, so kicking, stepping drills, they go hand in hand, and both of these kinds of drills you can train by yourself very, very well. Place one leg in the front, like I have right now, and then we're just going to swing one leg up. Just swing it. The whole leg is extended and swings up. This is not a kick, this is just to open your hips, stretch your leg a little bit, and prepare you for the kicking drills. And now, even though this is just a preparation, like a warm-up, there are important points here that you should pay attention to. So the first is, when I swing this leg, the other leg, the foot, stays completely on the ground. Yeah? So having one leg in the air is a liability for me, it's dangerous. And so I have to reduce the risk that it brings by at least being as stable as I can on the leg that's on the ground. Okay? Okay, so then the other thing that's important here is don't try to go as high as you can, losing your balance, losing your footing, but go as high as you can. That's not the point. So you either do the warm-up with your legs in the front, arms in the front the whole time, like this, or what's also good and valuable for training is that you start with your arms low, hanging, and then you throw your arms up together with the leg. Yeah? The reason being that if I do a kick, already I'm on one leg, so at least I want my arms to go forward, together with the kick, to provide a shield for me. Cover this space here, because the last thing I want is have one leg in the air and then I get hit. That's a very bad position for me. And the normal body mechanic that most people will follow is to pull their arms down when their leg comes up. To get rid of this habit of pulling the arms down when your leg comes up, just do the opposite. Throw your arms up as the leg goes up. Yeah? So if you always train it like this, you won't have the habit of pulling the arms down. You'll have the habit of bringing the arms up. Then the next one I would definitely recommend is that you stretch like this. And here I pull my leg back, but at the same time I tilt my hip forward. If I were to just pull my leg back, now you can see my knee would point backwards. Actually, I want to pull my knee back and then tilt the hip forward so that the knee now points diagonally forward. And when you do this, it should give you a nice stretch in the leg, but also in the muscles on the side here. Okay, for the first kicking drill, here we're just going to go through the basic mechanics of what the leg does, the leg motion in the Wing Tsun kick. And to do this, you will have to stand one leg in the front, and what's important here is that we are always on two lines. Our feet are never just on one line, because it's bad for stability. They're always offset, like this. So place your hands on your hips, like this, and now with the front leg, I'm going to lift up the toes so that my heel becomes accessible. And then I will draw my leg in slightly before performing the kick. When I show this from the side, you should be able to see that that my heel, the heel of my front leg, travels on one line from the ground up, about 45 degrees, lifting up like this. And to give you a hint here of how to do the motion, we can look at the arm motions. So if I stand like this, then my elbow is out here. Now if I do a Tan Sao, the important part is that my elbow draws in and then the arm comes forward, okay? So just as the elbow draws in, so does the knee. Yeah? Because I draw the elbow in to get my elbow in front of the body, so I have the support of my body behind the punch. And I draw the knee in, so I have my body behind the kick, It's the same kind of idea. Okay? So important here is that I don't start kicking from where my foot is right now to the target, but I draw in so that I have my leg for support. If I were to kick like this from out here, then the resulting force would also go back there and would create a risk of me falling over. Whereas if I kick from heel to heel, then this risk is reduced. When you're training the kick like this, you don't have to go high. It's completely fine to go lower as well. You can train it here. And what's important for you to understand is that the impact surface is the heel. So I'm kicking with the heel, and I'm creating a line of force that goes from heel to heel, between the two heels. And what this does in effect is that when I kick, I wedge myself in between the ground and the opponent's body. And this gives me a lot of stability. The goal of the kick is to provide us with stability and prevent us from falling on the ground. Now, the big danger when you kick is that you end up on the ground yourself. And you can end up on the ground very violently. If you have some wild kick and the opponent charges into you and just knocks you over, it's going to be a bad time for you. So then another detail to pay attention to when you train like this is that when you kick, you leave your leg out extended like this for a moment before you chamber the leg again and then set it down. The reason here is for stability. What you don't want to train is to kick and then to have to set down in the front. I want to be able to kick and have really freedom now what I want to do. Where do I want to go? Do I want to go back? Do I want to kick and go to the front? This has to be up to me, my decision. So we kick, leave our leg extended, chamber it. So we go back to a bent leg position and set down. Okay, having discussed how the basic mechanics of the leg motion works in the Wing Tsun kick, we'll start with the first continuous drill. For this we'll stand slightly shifted, 45 degrees shifted. And when I stand like this leg is my back leg and this is the front leg. So if I stood like this, it would be a little bit easier to see. And now we just look at this from the side basically. Okay? So this is the back leg, and the back leg I'm going to bring in like we trained earlier and shoot the leg forward. And notice that here now comes into play a rotation of the hip. I'm slightly turned and I'm facing again. Facing again. You can also play this kick to go diagonally over there. There you have a nice focus on just the rotation of the hip. Yeah, but you should also be able to do the kick to your front, okay? And with the rotation now, we bring in the arms. Think again that what we said in the beginning, that to bring in the leg is kind of like a Tan Sao here. I bring the knee in front of my body, like I bring the elbow in front of my body. And so when I kick here, what I do is I throw both of my arms. This is a Pak Sao and a Man Sao to cover this space while I'm kicking, so that any swing that the opponent might take at me while I'm kicking has a chance to be deflected instead of me catching it with my face. Okay? Better get my arms in between. So once you've trained this basic kick here on both sides, we start switching continuously. So from here, I kick, I set down, I turn my Man Sao Usao, again I kick, and every time that you kick, make sure that you throw the arms. Okay, now that we've done the basic kick from a standing position, we'll now do it with the first steps. I just stand like this, I take a step back, and I kick with the front leg. And we do the same thing going forwards. So now I stand back here, I take a small step, and where I normally would bring in the rear foot, the moment that the rear foot follows the front leg. That moment I use to kick. Yeah, so instead of bringing the leg here, I start bringing it in, but I continue on and I kick. So from here it looks like this. What you have to understand about the kick is that by lifting up and kicking from the heel, what we do is we start kicking from the ground in a about 45-degree line that runs from my heel up like this. And what this does is that, let's say, here's my opponent and I'm aiming to kick to the groin, yeah? And there, at this distance, I would hit the opponent with my kick in the groin. But what happens if the opponent all of a sudden steps in? Can always happen, right? What then happens is that everything still, I aim to kick there. He moves in, and I still kick the same way. Now I hit him lower on his body. So instead of, he will be about the groin, this will be about the knee. And this is a really nice sort of insurance that's built into the kick, that if I just kick from the ground up and the opponent shortens the distance, I will still hit something. Okay? Okay, when you've done these progression of kicks, first stationary, standing, just using one leg, then stepping back and forth with the kick. So the next thing you can do is starting to angle. Okay, so to show the angling, you can use a chair, and instead of staying in front of the chair and kicking, we're going to take small steps to the side and to the other side. So if I start from here, look over here, I'm going to target this leg across. From here, the other leg. Okay, so what we're just doing is taking a small step, kicking over there, taking a small step, kicking over there, taking a small step, kicking over there. And so this brings us then to the side kick that you can also use. In the side kick, when I step over here, instead of drawing my leg in and kicking out from here, what I'll do is I'll kick like this. Again, notice that the line that I'm kicking in is between my heel and the target. Yeah? So I'll do one, here I kick like this, I step on the other side kick. Step over here, kick like this, front kick, step over here and side kick. Step over there, front kick and side kick. Okay, for the mechanics, whereas the front kick turns in this direction with the hip, the side kick turns in the other direction. And my bong wu, you can also do a Tan Sao, helps me because the bong also rotates my hip in this direction, so it helps me with the rotation. And here I want to stay nice and upright. The normal thing would be to lean way out of place, okay? And when you do the side kick, you still want to stay nice and upright. And the side kick you can always substitute. For example, if I do this kick here, then I can also do the side kick here. Yeah, so any drill that we've done with the front kick, yeah, we can also play with the side kick. Okay? And for your understanding, the way that Ving Tsun works is, if I'm standing like this, I kick here, Or I will kick there if the opponent is in front of me. I normally won't turn my body away to then do a side kick. Yeah? So the side kick is for if the opponent is over there, for example, yeah? Or over there, okay? Or sometimes I step here and I think I'm going to kick there, but as I move, the opponent starts moving that way. So my leg is already maybe in the air, but I can still switch.